Hey everybody, Josh from Populi, and I'm trying my darndest to communicate to you about event types on communication plans. This video works best as a supplement to another video called Communication Plans. We recommend watching that one and then watching this. It's linked below. Anyone with the staff role can create and apply communication plans. We're focusing on a common example of how admissions might use communication plans to keep in touch with prospective students who submit an inquiry. But there are all kinds of different applications for communication plans. Let's get right into creating a communication plan. We'll do that on Communications, Communication Plans by clicking Add Communication Plan. Name your communication plan, people. I cannot stress this enough. You have to name your plan. Let's look down at this event here. The big thing is to notice the type of event this is, which is determined by this field. And this is an email event. That's what we want for the first event that we're creating. You'll see below that, we can choose from a couple of existing email templates that we've already created. Or we can compose an email right here by choosing New Email. If you choose to write an email, you just write the email. That's what you do there. I'm not going to go through absolutely everything, but we'll talk about the reply to and variables. Reply to is where you choose the email address to which replies to this email should go. So maybe this is your email address or something more generic like admissions@yourcollege.org or whatever. Replies to this email will go to that address. Variables down here allow you to define bits of interchangeable information. So you can send the same email to many recipients, but personalize it for each. To use these variables, click down in the text box where you want the variable to go, choose the variable in the dropdown, and then click Insert. And there you go. Now, one thing you do want to watch out for here. This field is set to sender. That means that this email will be sent to whoever is attaching this communication plan to a profile. That's the default. You can also assign it to someone else. So if Jerry attaches the communication plan to Elaine's profile, Jerry is the sender and Elaine is the recipient. So make sure you check that. Typically, you'll want emails to go to recipients. That's what we want in this situation. We're actually going to set this to a template we've already created. We'll set this to thanks for interest. We want that email to begin the communication with an inquirer. Okay, now let's go back up here and have a look at the date and time fields. This is currently set to day, and this is set to day 1 at 12 a.m. So that is the soonest an email can go out when you add a communication plan to a profile. Quick rabbit trail here. To understand a little bit better about how the timing works out, we'll look at what happens when you apply a plan on a profile. Let's say that it's 2 p.m. and I have the date selector set to today's date. That email was set to go out at 12 a.m. on day 1. So we're obviously past that time. That means that the initial email event on the plan will go out at once immediately. So if the time set on the event has already passed, the email just gets sent right away. And that only applies to email. Thus endeth the rabbit trail. Day here means day from when the communication plan was added. So day 1 is today when I add it. Then if you add an event for day 8, that's a week later. Day 15 is 2 weeks later, and so on. But that can also be set to date, which triggers events as of a certain date. You can enter that date in the blank provided, and then you choose what you'd like the plan to do if you add it to a profile after some of the dates have already passed. Let's say that it's July 4th and you have a plan with dates for May 5th and June 6th. So those have already passed. But then you have future dates of September 7th and October 8th yet to occur. Do you want the plan to skip events that have already passed? Send them right away or send them next year when those dates loop back around. I don't want to presume, but I think context and the content of your plan will dictate what you choose here. Yikes! Remember that we're talking through 3 different event types here, and that was just email. Let's move on to another event type, which will be is sent this letter. There's a whole process for letters in Populi, as you might guess. It's not like Populi is going to somehow just send a letter for you. What happens is that on a given day, all of the letters that are going to be sent end up magically in your print queue. Print queue? What's that, you ask? Quick diversion here. Anything that gets printed from Populi gets printed from the print queue, which lives here in communications over in queued documents under print queue. As we mentioned about Populi sending letters, you're not actually printing from within Populi. You're downloading a document that's going to be a PDF or an ODT. And once that's on your computer, you're opening it up in whatever software you use for that file format, and you're printing it on your printer. Just to be clear, we've got some resources in the description for more information about printing letters using layouts if you need to dig in. Anyway, back on track. The event is sending a letter. We want the letter to be sent to recipient. Don't forget, we're going to send this letter out a week later. So we're setting the day to 8 days. You can again choose a template or compose a brand new letter right here. We're going to go with the packet letter. So the idea here is that you have a packet of admissions materials that you're sending to the inquirer, and you want a personalized cover letter to accompany that. You'll see the layout selector to the right here. If you have a specific layout for this letter, you'll select that there. That's the letter event. We're going to add another event down here that will be our to-do event. We'll set the event type to is assigned this to do. We have a templated event down here for call prospect, gauge interest. But as with the other event types, you can freestyle and create a new one just for this communication plan. And for this one, we probably want the sender set here. The recipient may not in every case have a Populi user account, so they risk never seeing the to-do. And I haven't mentioned this other option here. For any of these event types, you can set this to someone else and enter the name of another Populi user, and they'll be the beneficiary of the event. So if Gordon makes all of these prospect calls for you, you can have him set up to get all those to-dos. That's it, let's save. And from there, you apply your plan to profiles and then view all the resulting events on scheduled events. Hop back over to the communication plan video if you want to refresh on the rest of that process. We have some other resources linked below, so check those out. Do you want to dig deeper and get more value out of Populi for your school? Join our Discord server. It's where Populi users can ask each other questions and capitalize on community knowledge. If you want to become a part of that community, go to Help in Populi and choose Join the User Community. That'll take you to a spot that has instructions about how you can get set up. I'm Josh for Populi. Thanks for watching.